Hey, happy Saturday everyone, Andreas here, and in this video I will talk about Facebook. Now, why is it interesting to talk about Facebook? Well, they recently released their earnings, and in those earnings, well, they did okay, but the big bombshell was the future guidance. Now, they expected to see a lot less growth going forward into the future, and what happened as a result? Well, on a single day, the market share of Facebook plummeted by 25%. Now, I've been following the market since 2013 and I've never seen such a big company have so much market cap wiped out on a single day. It's truly incredible, and I just had to make a video and give my opinion on it. And we've seen Facebook, bounce back from losses before. Remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal, how the stock price dipped, but how quickly they made a V-shaped recovery. And if you look at the history of the company, they've recovered very well from dips in the past. However, this time things are different, as I will go into more detail on in this video. And I believe that you should not belong on Facebook in any kind of scenario. There could be a home run if Metaverse works out. However, it's a long shot, and we could sort of see the writing on the wall to begin with when they crafted this narrative about the Metaverse. And that's a great way for the company to paint a picture for us investors, to sort of lead us on to maybe there's another S-curve of exponential growth out there for Facebook. And I work in tech sales, and I listen in on the quarterly earnings calls of both my own company that I work for and different companies in the sector to get to know what's really important for investors, management, to be able to sell better to companies. And growth is very high up there on most earnings calls. Some talk about cost reduction as well, but growth is just a trend today in terms of earnings calls and the KPIs that managers have and what's being focused on in the quarterly earnings releases. So Facebook crafting this narrative fits very well on what we investors want to hear. So they're basically pitching us to buy the stock in this case. And if we look at social networks, if we define them, they have a couple of, sorry, I've been sick in the week, but fully recovered now. But they have a couple of important properties, and those are that they're generational. We can see that the older generation, the boomer, likes Facebook a lot, while my own generation, millennials, like Instagram a lot, and now the Gen Z is using TikTok, and that these social networks rely on network effects. So there's a winner takes all aspect to the business of running a social network. And in the case of a winner takes all aspect, then we need to look for where is the growth gonna come from in the future, right? And this is where the Metaverse long shot comes in for Facebook. And let's just do a quick recap on history, because Facebook was able to manage their business amazingly in the past. They had Facebook, they captured a big audience, and then when my own generation, the millennials, started to use social media, we went to Instagram. And what Facebook did in a perfectly executed move was that they bought Instagram and they were able to monetize it very smoothly. I actually wrote my thesis on marketing and the way they monetized with less clutter than other forms of advertising. So I think that Facebook did a very well executed business move in this case. However, right now, with Gen Z, with the young people starting to use social media, social networks, we see that the Generation Z is flocking to TikTok. They're not really using Instagram, they're not really using Facebook. And for those younger people who have Instagram, many of them basically have just one picture or something like that. Just like us millennials use Facebook, we don't update it, we don't put anything, we have some old picture. That's basically what Gen Z is doing with Instagram, and I don't think that most of them even have Facebook accounts. And this is where this metaverse long shot narrative is being crafted. So Facebook really wants to convince investors that they will be able to construct this compelling virtual reality and be able to monetize this into a new exciting S-curve to justify their high price to earnings ratio, justify the valuation, and do this before TikTok comes and eats their lunch, right? And this is a challenge. This is truly a challenge. This is capital intensive. We saw that the unit responsible for developing virtual reality within Meta is basically bleeding money, and even if they make a finished product, which I believe will take years, then we also have the question of monetization. How will they make ads a smooth part of this metaverse? It's completely untested, and if we look at other alternatives such as TikTok, well, then you're safe as an advertiser. You know you will get bang for your buck, as you say. And sure, once the sort of early adopters show that Metaverse really works, then a majority might come in and try this. But this is still a long shot, and who even knows if Facebook, I'm sorry, Meta as they're called now, I will still call them Facebook, will be the ones where the metaverse origins from. No, I think we can see sort of the metaverse coming more from MMOs and platforms like Roblox. I believe that this is a more viable options. There are a lot of companies out there that are way further into the development of an actual metaverse than Facebook is today. And if the metaverse is not going to happen, well, then Facebook is basically just a failing social network, and without much competency to prop them up in the metaverse space, then this is just what's going to happen. And maybe people will look back at Facebook one day just like my generation looks at MSN and Lunar, for those of you who remember that one. Anyways, this was just a conscious stream on my thoughts on Facebook and this whole big wipeout of market cap. Of course, this long shot of metaverse could pay out, maybe it won't. It's really hard to tell today. But anyways, whatever you decide to do, whatever you decide to invest in, I hope you make a ton of money trading, friends. Take care now. Bye bye.